Okay. Okay, so basically, my husband and I went to Origo, the dealership that's right here.
The one on Commercial?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was on Saturday, and we went, and I'm going to give you the long story, so I apologize, but we went to talk about trading in a lease.
Okay.
And I was real upfront with them at the beginning, and I said, you know, this is what we need, this is what we want to do, so if you can do it, great. If you can't, then let's just, you know, don't waste our time, we'll be on with it.
Okay.
Fast forward, sales guy was doing all the typical sales things or whatever, and he came back with, like, for instance, he came back with an amount that was super high, and I was like, wait. I'm like, I get you got to do your thing, but we told you it can't be higher this amount. So he's like, okay, well, you know, I got to do this. Let me see what I can do. He comes back with his sales manager named John.
Yep.
And so he sits down, and right away he's like, look, we can't do what you need. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Right. My husband says, well, you know, that's fine. We told you from the beginning that this is what we could do if you had been upfront with us, but you weren't upfront. He's like, we're upset because we have issues with the truck and this and that. And the guy was like, well, he's like, so what did my husband say? My husband says, all right, well, just give us the keys. We'll get out of here. And the guy was like, fine. And he starts to kind of immediately, like, I sense like he's not happy that we're not going down the sales route.
The deal? Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, whatever. So they get up. My husband gets up. I turn around, and they're face to face. My husband and the sales manager.
Okay.
And so at one point, my husband said, well, just give us the effing keys. Not cursing at him, but just give us the keys.
Like your keys back?
Yeah.
Okay.
They never told us that he didn't have the keys. They never told us that our truck was around the back. I found out later. So the guy was like, don't curse at me. And my husband's like, I'm not cursing at you. I'm cursing because I want my keys. And they go back and forth, and, you know, another guy comes in because the sales manager is very, at this point, kind of loud at us. And my husband's kind of, and I'm kind of like, wait, chill. So a few other guys come, and they're kind of like standing like in front of us, almost like as a barrier. And so my husband like goes towards, like, there's a side door. And so my husband starts walking that way. He's like, you can't go out that way. He's like, you have to go around the front. But then all these people are there. So I'm just like, I'm very like intimidated. I'm like, well, what's going on? Why can't I, like, you know, and I don't want to like go by, like, leave this side, because at this point there's like, I don't know if they thought like they were afraid of us, but like, we're both tiny. And this guy was very aggressive, and they kept pulling him away, and the guy kept coming towards us. I guess like I felt like he was trying to argue. Anyway, so then the guy was like, then the guy says something like, your mother sucks and he uses the expletive term. And now I'm taken aback, and I'm like, wait, I'm like, no, I'm like, you guys need to get your employee, like, this is not cool.
Right.
And then of course my husband's upset because like we've never talked to him like that. So he says that the whole time. I'm like, he's like, just give us our keys. And the guy's like, I don't have your effing keys. And Eric's like, give me my keys. And I'm like, just like, guys, I'm like, this isn't like, what is happening? Like, get this guy out of here and give us our keys. And at this point, nobody's told us. And like maybe a few minutes go by, honestly, in that kind of span of time. No idea. So eventually they're like, oh, we're getting your key, or we're getting your car, it's around the back. So finally they tell us that. So the guy's like, he's like, you go around the front, but they're all in front of us.
Okay.
And we're like, okay, like, he's like, oh, you need to walk all the way around. Like, he's like telling us, because you know the cars in the middle of the dealership, he's like telling us like to walk around their barrier of people, to go all the way around. And then this really big guy comes up, like, probably like, I don't want to exaggerate, but he's big. He's like 2 times your size. Big, muscular guy. And he goes up to Eric and I, and he's like, why don't we go outside? And this dude's huge. And Eric's like, well, what are you going to do about it? And the guy's like, come outside and talk about it. And now I'm like freaking out, because all these people are here. None of them are de-escalating. None of them are pulling them away. Eric is doing his best to maintain his cool given the circumstances, but we're afraid. I'm I'm afraid. So anyway, so the guy, so we finally cut through around to the other side of the guy, and this big dude kind of just follows us out. Right before that, the guy was like, "It's not our fault. You can't afford your effing payment or something." And I can afford the payment. Like
I'm shocked. All this over a car deal. Like this is.
Yeah, I don't know. And that's why, like, so my husband's here. I'll tell you, my husband's sitting in the car, shocked by it. And I'm sorry, now I'm gonna start crying because I don't want to see him upset. But
take your time.
I was so scared seeing that happen and not understanding why this gentleman just felt the need to just be upset. Because, like, if we had not been upfront with him at the beginning, you know, I could say, okay, I didn't want to waste your time. But, like, we were upfront. I'm like, don't waste our time. We won't waste your time. And he was, like, mad almost that we didn't go forward with the deal. Mostly because I wasn't going to pay more for a vehicle that just, we don't like the dealership right now.
If you don't like it, you don't. There's no obligation for you to purchase the vehicle.
Yeah, so we thought he was mad, and then we felt he was almost kind of taking it out on us a little bit, like, because he was like, "We don't have your effing key. I don't have your effing key." And Eric's like, "Just give us our key. We'll leave. And instead of him, like, okay, you know, sales agent who was right there the whole time, "Hey, go get the key. We're getting the car," with, you know, any sort of de-escalation, he was just like, he kept just retaliating, and he would turn around and walk away for a minute and come back up all, you know, like men do sometimes, all heated or whatever. And it was just a crowd of them, and none of them were pulling him away, like, to the extent that he was leaving. And luckily, finally, like, Eric's like, okay, and we were able to go around and leave. But, like, we've since called the dealer and filed a complaint with them. I've done the review. I've emailed it to their customer relations person. But I felt, and he felt, that just given the hostile environment and considering the fact that we felt like we couldn't even leave, I was like, I needed to, like, do something more for them, because I don't think that was a safe environment for us, and I don't think that how they did that barricade was kosher at all from, like, I don't know. So I don't know what my recourse is in a situation like this, but I wanted to at least make sure him and I told our story.
Right.
So that doesn't happen again.
No, and I understand. That's completely reasonable because, like I said, I don't see what was the big issue about saying no to a...
Yeah.
Like, this is a car dealership. This happens all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure we were not the first people to say no.
Of course
and, like,
not.
And, you know, the fact that my husband said, "Give me my effing keys,"
right,
I don't think was unwarranted given the situation.
And I don't want you guys to feel bad in any way because that's their job.
Yeah.
Their job is to showcase the car, you know, talk about the numbers.
Yeah.
And so on. Until you guys can meet at the right price.
Yeah.
And so forth.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you, when you say they barricaded, like, how many...
So it was... It started with just him, the sales guy. Q, who was our sales rep, was there, and then, like, 2 or 3 other guys came up from, like, I guess because they have, like, a room with, like, a window where I guess maybe, like, some of them do their numbers and stuff. So a few guys came out of there, and then the sales guys that were on the floor to the right of us came over.
Okay.
So I would say at least 6 people, maybe more. And that's before the big dude came over. Okay. Because, like, everyone, I would say, was, like, average height and build. This guy was large, and you could tell, like, he was there to scare us.
And I just want to be clear, they stood in front of the door, or they stood in front of, like, a pathway?
The pathway to the door. Yeah, we were, like, kind of not in the middle of the showroom, but, like, if you're facing the door, we were, like, towards the left, kind of, like, in between 2 cars. Because I remember it was, like, a Charger here, and there was a Mercedes-Benz that he was telling us to walk around. So they were, like, almost, like, all in front between, like, the Mercedes to the Charger, like, just the general area.
Okay. And do you have the sales guy info at
His name was Q. Well, he went by Q.
Like just the letter Q.
The letter Q. He was from Jamaica, because I remember he had, like, a longer name that I couldn't pronounce, so he just Yes, I go by Q.
Can you describe him? What he looks like?
Probably like 5'8". Good-looking black kid, basically.
Okay.
Well dressed. I mean, but he was very nice. He was cool.
Until.
Yeah, I mean, I won't, like, even after the fact, because after the fact, I mean, he didn't really, maybe he didn't tell John, who was the aggressor,
Right.
because, like, they both kept doing their sales spiel, so I don't know if Q was just newer and did whatever, but he was cool, because after everything happened, I actually called, and I thanked Q, because better person. I was like, just thanks again for your help. I'm sorry it went that way with that guy. I'm like, by the way, what was that guy's name?
Okay.
And he told me John, and I was like, thanks. I'm like, are you able to tell me his last name? So I could have done the complaint. And
Yeah.
he's like, nah, not really. I'm like, it's fine. I get it. If you don't feel comfortable.
And what did he tell you? I'm sorry. What did he tell you, like, when you were on the phone with him after this happened?
I was like, what did I say? I said, thanks again. Sorry, sorry about everything. Sorry, didn't work out. He was like, yeah, sorry. I wish you guys the best. And then I said, do you mind if I ask you what was the guy's name that Eric had the argument with? And he said, he kind of pauses, John. I said, okay, thanks. I'm like, are you able to tell me his last name? He kind of hesitated for a minute. He was like, no, I can't. I'm like, okay. I figured they give last names because it's on their business card, so I kind of took that as a, well, you may know that was probably not the way it should have been. Because I don't think I've ever been in a location when an employee has told my husband or anyone around that there's those kind of words happening.
Right. Is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna document this and everything that you came and spoke with me, and I'm also gonna go over there and see if I can speak with them too, to John and Q, and see what was the big issue.
I appreciate it.
Because I wouldn't feel right either if it's happened to me, because this is the dealership.
Yeah.
So you're supposed to have the utmost respect for your customers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I get maybe he didn't like the fact that Eric said the F word, but Eric, he did not.
You're still, it doesn't
go and I know, but I don't know, just the whole situation just was so unbelievable, really. Unbelievable.
No, it sounds like I'm very sorry that happened.
No, I appreciate it. I was like, I'm very hesitant with I don't know, I just kind of like to let things go, and Eric's like, no, he's like, that was not right, we need to say something. And I was like, yeah, I know, you're right. So.
Well, I appreciate you coming down.
Thank you.
And if something like this were to happen, call right then and there. Have us come out.
At that point, though, I just honestly, I was like, get in the car and let's go. And I drove out of there because he was real worked up. I couldn't believe it was happening. I was like afraid, because that guy wasn't cooling down.
Yeah.
So I don't. And then he was like, oh, we gotta go. Like in terms of like coming.
Right.
But then I was just waiting for him because he literally had a panic attack thinking about like the experience. So.
But how is he now? Is he okay now? Is he getting better?
He's still getting worked up just because he's so upset like that something like that could happen.
Right.
And then he feels like in this situation they would just get away with it, or there's no, because they don't pick up the phone or they don't return our calls or they don't respond to our complaints or whatever. So like this guy needs to be reprimanded. Like they need to know with their management. Like they need to know that they can't do that to people. It's not okay.
Right. At any point during them going back and forth, did anything become physical?
No.
Because I had to ask just to make sure.
Yeah. I really felt that they were like, at least this guy was like, what's the word, like hanging them on a little bit, just the fact they kept coming back. Right. But no, like Eric gets mad. He knows to not.
Hi. How you doing? Mind if we talk outside? You mind if we step outside and talk? Or you want to talk right here? It's fine. What's up? So, back on, we had some argument with the customer. It was about, I guess they're trying to trade in their car for something else. Where it became like, I just want to know more on what happened.
Don't recall.
You You
I
know,
get a lot of customers, man.
I understand, but this one's probably not. You know, it was a lady and her husband. They want to trade like a Lexus, a gray Lexus.
Lexus?
Yeah.
Can't recall.
Okay. Who's your sales manager?
Cedric Danforth, my general sales manager.
I'm sorry?
Cedric Danforth.
Okay. You don't have a John that's a sales manager?
John?
Yeah.
That's my executive general is Cedric Danforth.
Okay.
So if I may ask, what's the inquiry about?
It's about
Sorry, go ahead, my man. Sorry, over to radio shit.
it's about two customers that came in here. They're stating that for some reason not the transaction, the agreement. You guys had an agreement or something, or we're trying to reach an agreement. Sorry, you guys are trying to reach an agreement about their vehicle they're trying to trade in. The numbers weren't there, and at some point, you know, you don't remember any of this.
That's why I'm looking at you sideways, fam. I'm not even trying to do this. Go ahead, man.
For sure. This happened Friday.
Sorry about that.
Is your
I would help you out. I would help you out.
is John here? Can I speak with John then?
The manager that's here right now is my guy, Scott.
So John's not here.
Yeah. Wish I could help you out otherwise. What's your name again?
Deputy Ace. Can I get his phone number?
Ace?
Yeah, Ace.
All the best to you, Ace.
Can I get his phone number?
Scott?
No, John.
Scott's here.
I think you said John. I'm talking about John.
My executive general manager's dude named Cedric.
Okay, but who's John? You don't know John. Okay.
All the best.
Hold on. So, let me get this straight. You don't remember there being some type of argument where...
I have a lot of clients who might.
I understand, but you don't have a lot of clients where... I understand.
So, you know what I mean? But
I don't really think you have a lot.
I'll be my manager if you want to speak to him.
Okay. Alright, that's fine. Let's speak to the manager.
What's going on?
I'm just here to... I just want to know what happened. No one's in trouble or anything. I just want to know what happened. That's it. Two customers came in. They're trying to trade their car on Friday around 11 a.m.
Oh, I know what it is. All right, so this guy came in here, and he was sitting down at the desk. He was with this salesperson, right?
Okay.
I come over, and he's talking about. He said, "You guys sold me a lemon." I'm telling you, what I'm talking about, right?
Okay.
And he goes, well, you were associated with the other store. I said, yeah, it's our sister store. He goes, so you guys sold us? No, we sold you. Very aggressive, right?
Okay.
So then he turned around and he says, I said to him, I said, well, I can't put, you got $10,000 worth of negative equity.
Yeah.
Okay. I said, there's no way I can sell you a car at $50 more. It's impossible.
Right.
So he turned around and he goes, I said, but luckily this is why you have something called a lender law and you have a warranty.
Okay.
Then he says, get me my fucking keys.
Right.
So I said, sir, but I can try to help you in the situation, but you get me my fucking keys. So I got up, I said, Q, go grab him his keys.
Right.
So he goes to go get his keys. Right away, the guy says, he said, go fuck yourself. Right? As I'm passing the car, so I turn around, bro, we have cameras all over the place. Now, I'm not stupid. I make fucking $300,000 a year. I'm not going to shut there and argue with some little guy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I turned around and I said to him, I said, sir, don't curse me. Don't curse me. He got all over my face, put his hands behind his back, got all over my face, fuck you, suck my dick, have your mother suck my dick.
He said that to you?
Yo, 100%, right? And then it's all on camera, like, you know what I'm saying? He all up in my face. And I'm sitting there with my thing, and I'm just like, sir, don't fucking curse at me.
Right.
Or you got the wrong one. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't know, you saw it?
No, I already spoke with them.
Yeah,
That's
bro,
why.
it's like this big.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you got the wrong one. Do me a favor, do not curse it. Right? And then he said something I said, is your wife proud of you now? You know what I'm saying? Certain other things to fuck with him. I said, your wife should be really proud of you right now. Look at the way you're carrying yourself. You're acting like an animal. Right? He said something else, and then he kept on coming at me. My other manager came out because this guy's screaming on top of his lungs, suck my fucking dick in our showroom with customers.
Okay.
So my other manager comes this way, and he gets all in his face. Fucking hit me. Fucking hit me. We knew what this guy was trying to do. We hit this guy, what is he going to do? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he instigated the whole shit, you know? That's why there's nobody in trouble here, there's nothing going on, because he did it with a whole showroom of fucking people.
Well, here's the thing. That's why I want to come here and speak with someone to get both sides of the story.
I mean, I don't even know why he has a police report. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, what's the police report for?
Well, we have to do our due diligence.
Well, you tell him, you know what? Now here's the thing. I want to make a report because he threatened me and I want to cut charges. We'll play that game. You get what I'm trying to say?
I see
I'm
where you're coming from.
going to play that game. That's what I wanted to do. Scott, he's here because the little man called the cops on him.
So here's the thing. I was here just to get your side of the story, see what happened, because it was
so disrespectful, though.
Right.
What are we talking
And
well, apparently he's saying that we threatened him to suck his dick, our dicks.
no, I didn't say that. So I didn't talk to him. I talked to his wife. Okay, his wife said that the sale was cute, very nice, everything. Her only issue was that she just didn't understand why a group of men were in front of the door. And now that I'm hearing your side of the story,
We're in front of the door.
that's what
This all happened over here.
Okay.
He told him to leave. So and Scott was on this side of the car. That's why this guy was cutting through the thing. Oh, and he turned me around. What did he say with the gun thing? What was the thing? Oh, she'd go back and shoot you. What did he say?
Yeah, something that
You can't stop a bullet.
can't stop a bullet.
That's what he told us.
Okay.
And that, in my head, I'm sitting there saying maybe that's the only reason he was acting. Bro, if you see him, I mean, in all honesty,
I've already
you're not
saw
that big.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, I've done MMA for 8 years. I'm looking at this guy, look at the size of him. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, why is this guy even attempting to be like this nuts?
And can I ask a question? So, no one followed him out of the showroom, nothing like that.
No, we stayed right here as he walked out, and that's when he turned around and said, I know he said something about a gun, but I didn't hear it. You get what I'm trying to say? So that he said you can't stop a bullet?
Yeah, so
Because I was in this area while he was out there, so.
That's why I just came to investigate, just to see what happened.
Well, I got like 8 witnesses for it. So.
No, it's fine. Here's the thing. They're not pressing charges or nothing like that. Listen. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like I said, they're not doing that. Their whole thing was they wanted to tell us what happened, but you know it doesn't go that way. I have to come and speak with you guys.
I want to get a couple witnesses in here so you can take their statement.
ultimately, we have to believe we have to believe.
You can always trespass someone.
Yeah.
Like you-
At the end of the day, everything that he was living off about, when I had walked over there and simply asked him, listen, so you're not gonna throw seed in my showroom and ask him.
Explain to the cop what happened with the other day with that guy here, that little midget.
No, he called the cops.
Yeah, bro.
Crazy.
You guys are coming in.
Oh my God. The guy got upset because he couldn't get to his payment,
Okay.
and he got belligerent at the
Well,
mall.
explain to him what he said and things like that.
Oh, he
What
came,
did he scream out so loud? Something what?
sucked my dick,
Okay.
and you know, was words. That's it. It was nothing physical happened
Okay.
at all. His wife was able to subdue him and put him out,
Bring him down. Okay.
bring him down. So it was nothing physical, nothing.
And that was my thing, because you know, they want to inform me what happened. They just said that they want to let me know, you know, because they feel like they weren't.
Exactly.
That's what we said yesterday.
He needed a track record. He needed a track record.
They feel like they weren't, in the sense of treated fairly.
But why you call the cops? No law was broken. That happened.
And I told him. Well, I told him that.
You saw the incident with the.
It's a civil situation.
Right.
At that point.
Right. I told him that.
That's crazy.
I told him that I could.
Explain to him what happened with the guy, the way he acted, everything else. I mean, I don't think anyone touched him.
No, it was nothing physical.
Right. And they told me nothing.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But my thing was, I wanted to speak with you guys to see if we're on the same page or what happened.
100%, bro. The guy was a fucking, he just went belligerently fucking.
And I'm sure you get that. You get that.
I've never, like, I've been doing this 20 years. Okay, that's the one thing I've never seen.
Really?
Yeah, bro. This guy, it's like he just went belligerently, like, out of nowhere. I've seen people get upset,
Right.
tell you to go fuck themselves. This guy,
Yeah, come on, not a kid.
like, he was laughing at somebody that it needs to be like the way he was acting. You get what I'm saying? He even got him.
That's exactly what I walked away. What are you gonna do? You big fucking motherfucker.
You know what I'm saying?
Like we said, I literally wanted to bang him to touch me.
Right. And I was asking her like, you know, you can make complaints, but this is not really.
Well, I know when he's trying to make a complaint for it, because he turned around and said he's gonna call an attorney and all this other
Yeah.
shit. He's just looking for a free payday. That's all it is. So, and that's what he was doing here. He's looking for a free payday. So the guy's a fucking joke. You know, everybody handled it appropriately. You know, and he was the one. But he turned around. All I said back then was, "Sir, don't curse at me." Oh, his exact words: "I'll curse at you whatever the fuck I want." It's not even that smart. Because this is a free country. I can say whatever I want.
And okay.
And I was like, "What?"
And I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, that's fine, bro.
Even the wife was like, yeah, he cursed. And
Curse.
no, not you.
No, I'm talking about the guy. Bro,
Yeah,
if my daughter was in here, let's say I was another customer and my daughter was in here, I'd probably just smack that guy in his mouth. You get what I'm saying? It was just a shit he said. He told me to have my mother suck his dick. Okay? If I wasn't at work, brother, okay, I would have fucking just demolished this guy. Like dead ass serious. I was ready to say some Mike Tyson shit. I'll rip your ass and your lights in the ass. But I can't because I'm working. You get what I'm saying? I had to keep my demeanor, I had to keep my composure, I had to just keep it like that. But even talking about it, the incident, I'm riled up from just talking about it. That's how bad that situation was. You get what I'm saying? He was just like totally belligerent from the whole beginning. Even when I sat down, like, and I'm trying to explain to him the situation, he got mad at me. He goes, "Well, you're a part of that." And I said, "No, I didn't sell you a car, sir, but I can try to help you."
Right, you're trying to work with them.
Yeah, you got $10,000 in negative equity. I can't put you $50 over what you're paying now.
So listen, like I said, I had to come here
I get it.
to get
I get it.
the full story, and I'm glad I did come here to get the story
I mean, the guy's a fucking nut job, bro. And it's not even those two. I looked at the two that I saw on the floor. There's probably like 4 other salespeople that have the same box.
listen.
I think he's just looking for a paycheck because he even wrote in the thing. He wanted like a thing into us.
The complaint.
A complaint.
Yes.
Well, he just said at the end into our text message that he was going to sue or all this other shit. Like, have fun finding an attorney over there.
It's good that I got the full story. Now I can just put that on my report that this is just a civil matter.
Gotcha. I appreciate you.
Listen, I appreciate you for speaking with me because at first, I guess he didn't want to speak to me. You know, I don't know, but appreciate that. All right.
Thank you so much, man.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.